Hello and welcome back to Butter Neya Time. You're here with me, Neya, your podcast host. So I recently turned 28, the big 28. I guess I'm a senior 20-year-old now. 2 years off 30. Don't feel like too pressured by the number, to be honest. I think I'll probably feel it more when I'm 29. I think I'll definitely feel it more when I'm 29. But feeling's pretty good since I'm turning 28. It's been 1 week, so go me. But yeah, so for my birthday, I went to the mines in Kuala Lumpur. So I went to Kuala Lumpur and I went wakeboarding and wake surfing. I've always wanted to try this. It's really like busy and expensive. Like I feel like it's just like expensive to do in Hong Kong. So usually like 1,200 Hong Kong an hour. No, 1,300 Hong Kong an hour. And then you would like split that between two people. So everyone would get like 30 minutes each, but usually you go for like a 2-hour session. So it ends up being like if it's 1,300, it's about like 650 each person. Hong Kong. So in Malaysia we did it 1.5 hours for two people. We went wakeboarding and wake surfing and it was 750 ringgit. So it's like not that much cheaper. I've come to the conclusion that it's not a cheap sport. It's just expensive. Like to be fair, the boat was pretty nice and the instructor was really good. So I ain't complaining. But anyway, so I went to wakeboarding and it was really fun. Wake surfing as well, also really fun. Wakeboarding we did first. So I have snowboarded before. So if you haven't been wakeboarding, it's literally like a snowboard but on the water. And honestly, I feel like wakeboarding is more scary than snowboarding because when you fall, the water really hurts because you're going at you can go up to 50 kilometers an hour. I don't think I went to 50 kilometers an hour. I went I was at 35. I thought I was going pretty fast. It felt really fast. Maybe I was going slow. But yeah, you have to do so much to try and control your weight, but actually you just relax and you squat and then your body will be pulled up into the position. So it works fine. But yeah, took me a few tries. It will be a funny YouTube video of this, so you guys can check that out. So anyway, got up and then it was pretty cruisy. I think the wakeboarding is more fun if you can do tricks. I feel like if I could do tricks and flip and stuff, it'd be really fun. But I think that your the barrier for entry is kind of low, but then the skill level, the upskill takes a long time. Whereas wake surfing, I think is maybe for other people it's harder to get up. But because I wakeboarded, I thought I got up the first try for wake surfing. It was pretty easy. But then wake surfing is more cruisy. It's definitely the surfing vibe. So yeah, I think wake surfing I would do more regularly, but it was really fun to try both. So that was really fun. But you know what was not fun? The next day I felt 28. The next day I felt 28 because my body was so sore. Parts of my body that I didn't think would hurt, or I haven't felt hurt before, really hurt. Like all down your lats, your shoulder, your back, surprisingly, my legs didn't hurt, but I'm not surprised as well because I have very strong legs. But I was literally in a permanent squat the whole time. But yeah, upper body definitely hurt, which kind of makes me feel like I was doing something wrong because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be wakeboarding. I do think you pull quite a bit because you're holding yourself up, but wake surfing, you're not supposed to hold yourself up. Anyway, we will learn from that. That was the first time trying. So pat on the back to me. I think I did an all right job. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you guys today was do an episode of 28 things I've learnt in my 28 years of life, which is crazy that I've been alive for 28 years. Really crazy. Anyway, so let's kick this off. Okay, my first thing that I've learnt, and this is not I learnt them every year of my life of being I learnt one when I was 1 year old, I learnt this. No, this is just 28 things I've learnt over the time, period. So my first one is to cherish your family in every moment of your life. And I think when I say that, I mean to really carve out time to spend with your family, make that trip to go see them, go on that random trip with them when you're young, hang out with them on the weekends. I spent a lot of time with my parents when I was younger. I went on me plus 4 aunties and uncles on a trip just by myself with them all the time. And actually I had the best time. I think learning to socializing with older people as well. Not that my parents are that old, but when you're younger and you're like 15, 16, it's good for you. It gives you good communication skills, I think. But yeah, I think just generally spending more time with your family and just at any moment you can, just prioritizing that, because yeah, like your family are your ride or die. You know, they're the ones that are there for you no matter what, through thick and thin. They are your blood. Whether you have a great relationship with them or not, I'm unlucky I do, but they are definitely, I guess I can't say that for everybody, but for me anyway, I think that if the effort you put into your family is really, really worthwhile. Second thing, number 2, is I think it's really important to remain culturally curious all throughout your life, and especially at a younger age. One of the things that really helped was my parents. We had international students living with us, like homestay kids, from when we were really young, like before I was born. And so when I was born, I was like always surrounded by culturally diverse people. It was a very multicultural home. And I think that really benefited me to be really curious about the world and just cultures, and learning about different perspectives, different experiences people have, different backgrounds. I think that's really important because it makes you a more diverse person. You know, it gives you a lot of education that going to school, reading a book can't give you, as opposed to like going out there and really communicating and getting to know people one-on-one. I think that's really important. My third thing is to enjoy your downtime. I am not good at this. I always feel the need to do something, but I do think that I have learnt in my older years to be a little bit more mindful of downtime and alone time, and just like understanding what I need as an individual to sustain my energy, to sustain my mental health. I think it's really important to enjoy that. And I would say as well, as a specific advice piece, I think that if you're in university right now, cherish that time. Like, I think university, people really don't, like, people take for granted the fact that you have like 3 months off every year to just do like whatever you want to do. You can travel, you can do anything. I think it's super good to do that internship and like get that work experience. Like, sure, great. But also like go travel, go do things go do like a volunteering role or something that's like really different, that you wouldn't be able to so easily get that time off when you're working full time. Trust me, when you get into the workplace, you will really regret not taking advantage of that university time off to do your own thing. Okay, number 4 is to not box yourself, and don't box yourself / don't put all your eggs in one basket. I've spoken about this in a previous podcast before, but I just think like I've learned so much that stuff happens, like life goes on. Things might not always go to your plan, so I think it's better off to like not have such a defined plan, you know? Putting all your eggs in one basket on one life path or options can be really, like, I think, crippling at some point. Like, if it doesn't go to plan and you don't know how to deal with that. But I think if you have your eggs like in multiple baskets, you keep yourself diverse, your interests like varied, have a variety and choices of what you want to do, which I think is really important. All right, number 5 is do things that make you uncomfortable. I think it's really important to not just sit in your comfort zone. I know it's really comfy, like pun intended, but it can be too comfortable, you know, like sometimes it's not good to feel so protected and in your like cocoon of things that you know. You know, it's good to not know about things, to feel uncomfortable, because that means that you're trying to learn new things. You're expanding your knowledge of like what environments you like and you don't like, things that you want to try more of, meeting different people. I think it's really important to just make yourself feel uncomfortable, because honestly some really great things come out of that. Like, I went to a junk boat party that I was like, I really don't want to go because I don't know anyone other than Alex, and I went and I met some of my really close friends in Hong Kong from that, because I put myself out there and I chose to channel my alter ego and just be like, okay, just go in there and go socialize, because, you know, I really needed to make some friends, and I ended up making some great friends. So don't stay in your comfort zone. All right, number 6 is everything in moderation. And this comes back to like my video about body image, where I think it was really obvious and clear that to have a really great relationship with yourself, with food, with your body, with people around you, with work. It's really important to have a balance, right? Everything in moderation. Sure, eat that fried chicken, but don't eat it like you're never going to eat it again. Just eat like 4 pieces and be done with it. Eat your salad the next day. Go for a drink the next day. Don't go for that run. Go for the run the next day. Like, everything in moderation. You know what I mean? I think people are just nowadays you can get sick from everything apparently, but it's when you do like things in excess, right? Which you don't need to do. Moderation is key. My mum always told me, don't like force yourself to eat that because there's always more. Like, you can always get more of this, right? You can always make yourself more of that chocolate muffin that you want to eat, right? So don't make yourself feel like you have to do too much. Number 7 is to get a job at a very young age. When I say very young, I mean as soon as you're like legally like able to work. My dad was actually like decently hard on me to get a job when I turned 15, because the working age in Australia is 15. And at the time I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. But I think he did it because he thought it'd be really good for me to go and learn about the value of money, and also just to go and generally work. And I remember him kind of pressing me about it. But I remember my resume. I went out to all these random cafes and put my resume out there, and ended up getting my first job at an ice cream store. And that was awesome because it was able to interact with people, kids my age from a different area, different school, different interests, work with people who are older than me, understand how it is to work for have rules and a boss in a workplace. Also how the most important thing to learn is just value of money. I think once you realize at a young age how hard it is to earn $1, or how hard it can be to earn $1, that you really appreciate and respect the money, the pocket money your parents give you, how hard they work for things, and thinking about what you need and don't need. And I think it's so good to learn that at a young age, because I see so many people out there who don't get a job till 22 and honestly have no idea what's going on, and just spend all the money, or just don't have a concept. It's all I want, and there's no understanding of okay, I want this, but how do I work towards it? And I think my parents did a really good job of teaching us that at a young age. Even if my sister played golf, it was okay, you want a new set of golf clubs to get to this handicap, right? Setting us goals to achieve to get to places, to understand the value of money was really important. So I think getting a job at a young age does wonders for you in terms of communication, networking, soft skills, hard skills, just everything. It's so good for you. So good for you. All right, number 8 is to stretch. This is showing my age, but honestly, I've started to stretch a lot more since I was in the last 3 years, and it's done wonders. I would like to say I'm pretty flexible now. Even the other night I was stretching and I was like, oh my God, my chest is almost touching the floor when I'm doing a pancake. It takes time, but I think these are things that are really, really good for maintaining long-term, maintaining your body long-term. If you don't look after it, if you do not use it, you will lose it. So I really think it's important to put the time into stretch, especially because it's so good to run and do all this CrossFit and stuff. But if you don't stretch and look after your muscles and your body, you'll probably make yourself very susceptible to injury and just not having long-term endurance. So I do think stretching is super important, and you don't have to do yoga. You can do just watch a video on YouTube and just stretch. Really good for you. Highly recommend it. All right. My 9th one is, I learned this as I've gotten older, but I think it's so important at a young age. So if you have kids, or you are in your 18, 19 or something like that, put time into your core. Not in the sense of oh my God, have a 6-pack. It's just have a good core, do good foundational things from a young age, sports, gymnastics, diving, swimming. They give you a good core, because it will pay off twofold in the future. When I was younger, my sister and I used to play on the monkey bars and spin, do flips off the monkey bars, more my sister than myself. But we were super flexible and super strong. And you could easily just carry your weight at a young age. But really, when you get older, you really lose that unless you put time into it. So I think it's so important to have a really good foundational core strength, because that will prevent you from having back pain issues. This sounds so old. I'm just realizing now, like how much I sound like I'm in my late 20s, but it really pays off. Really put the time into it. You'll thank me later. Okay, number 10 is to be independent. And this is being independent, like in your thoughts, in your hobbies, what creative interests you have, financially. It's just really important to be independent and be able to stand on your own. I think being able to say like, hey, I earned this money, I developed this, I created this, this is a hobby that I absolutely love, and I've worked really hard on it. And these are the thoughts I have from XYZ experiences. It's really important to have that because I think, like this is your life. Show up to it, right? Like don't conform to everything else that everyone else is doing just for the sake of it. Go out there and experience life and be an individual. I think it's really important. Need I say more? And I think this filters into my number 11, which is to love yourself. I think we can spend a lot of time putting ourselves down, comparing ourselves to others, especially in this very fast-paced like internet world where we could just see everything that everyone's doing all the time. But I think it's so important to take the time to love yourself and put time into yourself. If that's a form of like reading books, meditation, eating a dish, like cooking, running, anything, right? It's really important to put that time in for yourself because I truly believe like if you are the best version of yourself and you really love yourself, who you are, you can spend nights alone and you're fine, that you will like put out a really great vibe and that attracts really great people into your life in the form of romance, in the form of friendships, work. Like I really think that the vibe you put out is like the tribe you attract. You know what I mean? So I just think it's all synergy. Okay. I was doing weird hand things for people who are not watching the YouTube video. Okay, number 12 is don't overwork for relationships. Relationships meaning friendships, romance, work colleagues. Just don't overwork for it. Things should gel. Things should be somewhat effortless. Yes, put in a decent human amount of effort, like ask them to go to coffee, like the first few times, like do your part, but you shouldn't be hanging out with people or surrounding yourself with people who drain your energy. You know what I mean? Like life's too short for you to do that. So just, if you find a relationship where you're like, not sure if I feel so comfortable around this person in the sense of like, do we really gel? Trust your intuition, just roll on. Like no one is forcing you to be friends with that person. Don't waste your time. Move on. All right, number 13 is to save your pennies and travel. I absolutely love travel and my parents instilled that in me at a really young age. Our family all love to travel. I think it's one of the best ways to learn in life and it can beat pretty much any book out there or any sort of like academic smarts that you can have, right? Like I do think being street smart and going out and seeing the world, having cultural experiences, life experiences, teaches you how to be like savvy and survive in the world. I don't think I'm like the most book smart person in the world, but I think I have really great skills from experiences that I've had all throughout the world traveling and meeting different people, being put in different situations where I'd really have to be a critical thinker. That has enabled me to be, really employable and like have really great friends and really great relationships. So I do think that if you at a young age, like from when you start working when you're 15, as I did, save your pennies and like go and take those opportunities, like I was saying in university, to go and travel and see the world, do things outside of academics and professional career, right? Really important. Number 14 is don't be afraid to fail. I think that there are so many like connotations around like failure and blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before, but make a mistake, it's fine. Just learn from it. I think that's like the most important thing at the end of the day. No one really is going to care that much if you really fail at something, but learn from it. Like grow from it. Take it as an opportunity to look back and understand why this happened, why you did that, and why it didn't work, right? All right, number 15. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is something that I think I've had to learn and I'm still totally evolving on because I think it's just something in my character, am like really good at doing is being hard on myself and like really pushing myself. But I think it's important to take a step back and, you know, pat yourself on the shoulder and say, great job. I think that like when things aren't working out for yourself, just kind of like ride it, let it flow. I think that also is like really important when you think about when people are single, right? I think when we newly come single out of a relationship, I've had it before as well, is like you have this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I need to like learn from this and get into like, you know, find someone new and back out there, blah, 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 right? And then some people can be, I think, like really hard on themselves, like, oh, what's wrong with me? Like, why I've had failed relationships? What am I doing wrong? And just kind of go into like either a fix it mode, or just like start to be really careful about the next steps and like freaking out about like never finding somebody. But I think in this context, I would say go with the flow and just like, I think I had so much fun when I was newly single. Well, actually not newly single, but I had broken up with an ex, and then I had like 4 months, I had like a 2-month thing with a person. And then like after that, I actually finally decided to just let myself enjoy being single. I think when I did that and just went with the flow and I wasn't so hard on myself and expectations, I just had so much fun. Like I learned so much about myself in small talk on these dates. I became really good at dating. And you just learn a lot about yourself, like what you like, what you don't like. And I think it was really fun without even realizing it. I had a great time and then ended up magically meeting Alex, my current fiance. So I think just don't be too hard on yourself and let yourself ride the wave. All right, number 16 is, if you work with technology a lot, get yourself a pair of blue lens glasses. Oh, yeah, they're blue lens. But this has really game changed me in the last like year. I work on the computer a lot and on my phone a lot for like social media and also like work, and it really does help my eyes. I feel like my eyesight has at a point was like kind of getting worse. I can feel it on the days that I don't wear the glasses and I spend all day on technology. I can feel it when I go out, like it's just not right. But when I wear them all day, it feels so much better, and I get less headaches and all that. So that's just an old person like tip, but start it from a young age because it really does pay off. All right. Okay, number 17 is to have an open mind. I think that I have been, for some reason, been able to take a very open mind since like if you've listened to my other podcast, when I went to uni and ended up not doing the first degree that I chose, I learned after that to not put all my eggs in one basket and just like have an open mind, to like learn new things, meet new people, and just talk to people. I think being open, right? Like, yes, you might have great friends that you don't want to like make any other friends. Cool. Like, fine if that's your mindset, but also like don't let it restrict you and limit you, because I think once you start to have mindsets of like being in your comfort zone, it comes back to the comfort zone, then you stop experiencing life. Like, you're not supposed to just like have 10 friends and then that's it. You can go out and meet other people. They don't have to be your friends, but just talk to people. You never know what will happen. All right? And you also don't know what experiences you'll have. Okay, 18 on the friendship topic is you don't have to have a lot of friends. I honestly have never had like that many friends. I'm not like, oh my gosh, me and my 100 friends are going to, like, I'm going to invite 100 friends to my 21st. No, I was like, I'm going to have a high tea and invite 10 people to my 21st. Like, you don't need to have a lot of friends for the sake of it. Just have friends around you that surround you with good energy, support you, and love you. I really don't think you need more than that. If you have people in your life, like having more people or like friends in your life can sometimes be very complicated. You know, there's more drama. And honestly, are you really connecting with 100 people out there? Are you? But yeah. So I think you don't need to stress yourself about like having a lot of friends. Just let it happen naturally. If you do end up having 50 friends, wonderful. 500 friends, wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Like, as long as you have a great connection with each of them and you really feel like you can connect with them, perfect. I'm all for it. But just don't stress yourself out about having a lot of friends. All right, number 19 is say yes to the flow. So this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, but I just think when you go with the flow and you just see what happens sometimes and you just like say yes, then it really works out. Like, one day I will talk to you guys about how Alex and I met, but honestly, that was the epitome of like going with the flow and just saying yes and going with the flow. And that really paid off. And it's led to me like where I am now, 5 years down the road, having so many experiences and with an amazing like fiance. And so I just think I'll tell you the story in one of my next podcasts and you will understand what I'm trying to say. All right. Number 20 is no one really cares that much about what you do. I truly believe every single person has gone through this in their life, no matter how self-confident you are, no matter how big your ego is, how successful you are, blah, 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 etc., etc. Everybody has always had this moment where they're like stressed so much about what other people think about them. Of course I have. And it's totally natural because we're like social species. Like we live in that environment and everything is so interconnected nowadays. But honestly, I have friends where like they care so much about what people think about them that it just limits their ability to do things. Like they like won't post on social media because they spend like a day looking at a photo thinking about whether to post it. If that's happening to you, honestly, I'm telling you, no one really cares that much about what that post is. They're going to look at it for like literally 3 seconds. They're like, oh, interesting. And that's it. Because so many people are out there. If you're caring so much about what people think about you, do you know what they're doing? Also caring so much about what people think about them. And everyone just cares so much about other people think about them. But really, everyone's just thinking about themselves. Think about like, oh, how's that person going to view me? Just think about themselves. You know what I mean? So honestly, do not let like what other people think, like what you think other people think of you, limit yourself because they really don't care. I'm just telling you now, they really don't care. Really do not care. Okay? They will forget. Number 21 is do small things to make yourself comfortable in your environment. So say you're living independently in like Hong Kong, can't afford like a super lush apartment. Find a space that like just gives you the vibe, works within your budget. And then it might be a home that you want to like put your money into. Great. If you don't have that money, it can be small things like get yourself a pair of earphones so you have a nice like vibe when you walk to work or you exercise. Get yourself the camera that you really like. Get yourself, I don't know, that membership for whatever gym. Just do small things like within your life that give you that comfort. I think the key to life, especially like when you travel and all that, is just to have like small routine things that help you get by. And if you have these small consistent things, they ground you. Like for me, okay, one example is I love eating oats in the morning. So every day I eat oats with peanut butter and banana. I'm not even kidding. You can ask Alex. I do it every day. And the only variation I do is I'll eat granola some days when it's like a hot day. So that like grounds me and it really makes me feel comfortable, makes my digestive system feel like great start, let's go. That's how it feels. All right, take a quick pause because on the topic of oats, I wanted to share with you guys my peanut butter little hot tip is actually like how to use peanut butter in a meal. So for me, it's oats. I want to share with you guys my process. So what I do is I get rolled oats because they are way better than like the still cut oats or like the oats that have the instant oats. Like it just comes out as like really mushy. It's not really my vibe. I like a bit of texture and bite. So I get rolled oats. I get like a handful, little like fingertip handful, not a palm handful. Put them in a bowl. Put water, like just half a centimeter covering the top of the oats. And then I put them in the microwave 1 minute. Take it out. During the 1 minute microwave time, grab your banana, open it, just peel like, you know when you open, you peel, click it open, and then you pull down. Just let like the skin sit on one side. And my key is get your spoon. This is like literally me. Get your spoon and use it as a knife and you just go chop, 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 chop. And you chop it all the way down and get the slices. And then once your oats are ready, take it out of the microwave, put the banana into the oats, mix it up. Put it back in for like 40 seconds because you don't want the banana too mushy. Take it out, grab your peanut butter, take 1 big scoop of peanut butter with like tablespoon, crunchy preferably, and chuck it in there and mix. It'll be a bit thick, but mix. And then you have this like lovely consistency of like gooiness and oats. And if it feels a bit dry, put a bit of water in and mix it a bit more and make it a bit more like soft. Amazing. Thank me later. Peace out. You just got my secret oats recipe. All right, back to it. Okay, so number 22, we're almost there. Yeah, okay, my dad always says this and he's going to love that this is in the podcast. But he always told me, if you don't want to do something, there's a thousand excuses. If you do want to do something, there's one excuse, no excuse. That's just such a dad thing to say, and like a dad thing for them to absolutely love that you carry through your life. But I truly believe in it. Enough said. That's all I can say about that one. All right, number 23. You always make your money back. And I've learned this as I've gotten older and you start to earn like more money working. Don't like stop yourself from doing things because of money. Like, yes, and I'm also a victim of this sometimes. Like I'm like, oh, got to save money for that. Like I really shouldn't go on that once in a lifetime trip or like go for that like one really cool experience. But no, if these are things that are like life-changing and building experiences in your life, go for it. Because, you know, within reason, have an educated decision of this based on your circumstances. Like you are always going to make money in life. You know what I mean? Like the capitalist society, this is how we are. So don't limit yourself. You're always going to make the money back. Just do it. That's how I feel. Okay. Number 24. Celebrate your birthday. I honestly do not understand when people are like, I don't celebrate my birthday. I'm like, why? Why don't you celebrate your birthday? Oh, I don't like making a big deal of things. Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I think those people love celebrating their birthday. They just out here being like, oh, I don't want to be extra. I don't want to make it seem like I want anything. But maybe it's like, well, if you just admitted that you did want to celebrate your birthday, you'd have more fun. But I just don't understand. Like, it's once a year. My family have loved our birthdays forever. We always like make a big deal of it, which is sometimes really stressful when you're the one planning. But I do think it's worthwhile because it's so fun to celebrate your birthday. You literally have it once a year and it's the day you were born. Who cares if like a million other people were born the same day? I don't care. It's all about me. That's all I have to say. Celebrate your damn birthday. Celebrate it. I know you want to. Everyone loves a little cake or a little treat or someone just saying happy birthday because everyone loves to be loved. All right? Okay, number 25. Honestly, you never really know anything. You don't. There are like so many moments in life that I've thought like, oh, I know things. And I think when you're 19, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like it's coming out of high school, maybe 18, 19, you think you know so much and you're so knowledgeable and you're like, oh my God, I know everything. I don't need you, mum and dad. But honestly, you don't. And like, even when I swear when you're 60 as well, you don't know anything. Because if you think you know everything, then you're like this point where you're like, stop learning. But you should always constantly be like curious and okay and very open to say, I don't know. And I've learned that with age, especially working as well. Like sometimes it's better, honestly, to just say you don't know. Like someone asks you like, do you know this? I don't know. Okay, great, perfect. Then that's not a bad thing. Let me teach you it or let me show you an example. It's so much worse if you're like, you actually don't know and you're like, oh yeah, I totally know. And then they expect you to know and then you don't know. And then just waste everybody's time. And it wastes your time because you don't get to learn what you actually want to know, right? So just be okay to admit that you don't know something. All right, 26. We're getting there. Positive. Well, I was going to deliver that really well, but let's just try that again. Positivity will always win. I do think that. I do believe in it. If you take a positive mindset and you are a half glass full type of person, it'll get you places. You know what I mean? Like, you only have one life. Why spend it being cynical or pessimistic about things? Have a little fun. Just be a little positive. You never know what could happen. Okay, number 27. Everything happens for a reason. I really, really believe this. There's so many things in my life that have happened that have just, like, romantically, in education, in a workplace, networking, socializing, that have just happened for a reason that I just can't like not believe in that. And that's how I truly, truly, honestly believe that everything happens for a reason. You know, in this kind of current space, we're all multiverse, Spider-Man, blah, 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 everything everywhere all at once. Yes, all this multiverse stuff. Okay, I agree, there is a multiverse. There are so many versions of you out there, but the life that you're living is your version, and everything has happened in that world for a reason. That's all I have to say. All right, number 28 for my 28th birthday. Oh, okay, I really didn't need to do that. But I think as you get older, you really, really learn to just respect everyone's decision. You know, like respect everybody's decisions that they make for themselves. If it's not affecting you, then just let it be. You know, stay out of the drama. No need to talk about other people's decisions. Yeah, like you might have thoughts in it, but just let it be. Because honestly, you can give all the advice in the world, but if somebody doesn't want to do something, they're not going to do it. If they don't want it, they're not going to do it. So just focus on yourself, do what you want to do, and let others just cruise in their lane. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah, so these are my 28 things that I've learned. I personally feel like they're really insightful and have helped me along my way. I do think they'll definitely change and evolve with age, and with more life experiences that we have. But I think like the cusp of all of it is like the crux, not the cusp. See, 28 and just like using the wrong vocabulary. Anyway, the crux of it all is just to have life experiences. You know what I mean? Go out there and just live, experience, have wild moments with friends, with family, with your loved one, like things that you never thought could happen, because it's so exciting. So much to discover out there. All right, I got to go because I got to go out and start experiencing more things for my 28th year of life. Peace.